Hey everyone, my name is Penny Zanker, and it's time to reset. This podcast goes beyond just navigating change. It's about new ways of thinking about how you can approach challenges, how you can shift your mindset when needed, create some space and grace for yourself so that you can rethink, recharge, and reprioritize when and where needed. Are you ready to unlock your full potential? Thank you for hitting play and sharing this next episode with me. It's time to reset. Hello, everyone. Oh my goodness, is this going to be a great show or what? I'm so glad that you guys are here. And we're going to be talking to Brynne Tillman today. And we're going to be talking about LinkedIn and AI and all these kinds of things. And I'm going to hit her with the hard questions. She is the CEO of Social Sales Link. She's the co-host of a podcast, Making Sales Social, and the co-author of the best-selling books, The LinkedIn Edge and Prompt Writing Made Easy. She's best known for helping revenue-driven professionals leverage LinkedIn as a powerful sales tool and opens up more conversations by earning the right. So I'm so excited to talk about this combination of AI and prompting and LinkedIn and how all of this comes together in today's environment. So I'm so happy to have you here. Welcome to the show, Brynne.
Thanks for having me, Penny. I am so excited to be here.
So we're going to get right into the thick of it. All right.
Yeah.
I want to get into the things that annoy me like you cannot believe about LinkedIn, because I know that I'm not the only one. First of all, I feel like there was a point last year, because we're already into this year, where I wanted to give up because LinkedIn was actually showing it to less of the people that I already know that are already connected to me. And I think it's just so frustrating to work so hard to connect with people that are already connected with me. So this is an algorithm. What do we do about this frustration? Do we just give up, or is there actually a way to get people to see what we post?
Let's first talk about the buckets of LinkedIn. The first bucket is your profile needs to be optimized and created as a landing page that converts. That's number one. So we have to move it from a resume to a resource. If we don't do that, very little converts. The next piece is content and engagement. Hands down, about a year ago, LinkedIn made a huge shift to the algorithm, but it levels the playing field. So I don't mind it as much as everyone else. And the algorithm piece, and then I'll talk about the kinds of content, but the algorithm is now built around who we engage with will see our content. This is what it looks like. I'll just explain.
I still don't like it, but I got you.
We have control, which you don't have on a lot of almost any other platform. Not sure any other platform does this. So what does this mean? When you connect with someone, first 2 weeks, they will see your content.
Right.
If they engage, then they will see your content for the 2 weeks starts over.
So you get another 2 weeks from them. So you get a bonus 2 weeks. And if they continue to engage, then they continue to see it.
Exactly.
Okay.
If you engage on their content, 2 weeks.
But that's anyone. That's not just somebody that I just engaged with.
No, anyone.
That's anyone's. Because I did notice that when I respond and am engaging on someone else's thing, that they're seeing my stuff. And I noticed that I have more reach on those comments than I do on my own content. So what's up with that?
That's the algorithm, right? They're encouraging comments. But now if someone likes your comment or replies to your comment, they'll start to see your content for 2 weeks. You get this 2-week window.
Okay.
And as you engage, if you message someone and they reply, 2 weeks.
Right.
So we own our destination. That said, that we own that isn't enough. The next thing we have to do is make sure that the content we are putting out is engageable.
Yes.
We can put out great content, and it may have aha moments, and lurkers might say, man, that was genius. But if we have not encouraged them to engage, it falls short in the algorithm. It falls short in if they're not engaging, LinkedIn stops sharing it. It doesn't matter that they loved it.
Okay. And this is still bucket 2?
There's a lot in bucket 2.
Okay.
There's a ton under
I just want to
content.
make sure that we don't forget to go to bucket threes
But
and where
bucket
we are.
three is the
Okay.
best.
I
Okay.
love the best. Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
excited now.
This is the order, really, right? So from least important to most important, although I do believe your profile and content are both very important, because if they engage and they get to your profile, we want them to be encouraged to take the next step. So we have to make sure that
Okay.
we are positioning ourselves to be engageable, to be right. That it's a mistake so many people in business development make. They can share great content. They may have 280 views and no one engaged. Why? They may have loved it, but we don't know. And we can't start a conversation with them until they take action.
But
So our content, if we are looking to use our content as a conversion tool,
right.
it has to hit 5 points.
Okay, wait, before you go there, I just want to say, so I do have people who go to who I didn't even know they saw it because they're like, oh, I saw your thing. And I was like, why didn't you comment? They're not
Because you
commenting,
didn't
right?
invite them to.
And some people just don't. So I do want to hear what those 5 things are. But again, it's interesting, right? This whole psychology of how this works. And I guess the thing is also is not to expect that everybody is going to comment. Some people are just lurkers and they just like to read a little and then go and not leave a footprint.
Well, and that's why we have to check every day who's viewed our profile. Because many times that is the compelling action. They go, oh, that was really good. Who's Penny Zinker? Ah. So they may not comment, but the fact that they viewed your profile will
Okay.
actually start 2 weeks that they're going to see that's an action point. And now we can reply, and that's a whole other, but we can't start conversations with people until we know they're there. And there are lots of ways to know they're there. Viewing profile is one of them. But okay, so let's go back to the 5 points.
Okay.
The first thing we have to do, and in this order, by the way,
I want to point that for people who are listening, sequence matters in things because you said in this order. So I want people to understand and just like highlight on that sequence matters when we go and do things, because imagine if you're making a cake and you put the box into the bowl and put that into the oven and then you pull it out and then you stir it afterwards, right? There's a reason why things work in a certain sequence. So I want to make sure that people are writing these down and understand that this sequence matters.
I love that. Okay, so the first thing is we have to resonate. This means you have to call out the reader you will get value from this content. So if you're reaching out, let's say manufacturing leaders.
Okay.
That will stop the scroll from the right people. Now, some people say, well, I work with lots of different people. Great, I have lots of different posts. The more we call out exactly who we want to read this, the more likely this will convert, which, by the way, is my goal, right? I don't have a vanity metrics in any of this. All of this for me is how many conversations can I start with the right people? That is all I care about. Like,
Right.
I don't care that I only got 2,200 views on something and my counterpart got 20,000 views. If they did not get a conversation, but I got 4.
Everybody who's listening, listen to that. That is important, right? It doesn't matter how many people. It's having those conversations that matter. If they're with the right people, you only need a handful.
Correct.
You don't need a ton. I love that you said that. And to reorient us, we used to be in a world where, oh, I didn't get enough likes and see how many follows I have. Who cares? Because that doesn't mean that you're getting business. So we want to have the right conversation. So I love that, calling out the people you're talking to.
The first thing
it's going to change the way I post now. I'm loving this. Right? And I don't know why I don't know this already from you, because we've known each other for a long time. I haven't been listening. Hello.
We're here now.
I know. Okay. So tell me more.
And so the next thing that it needs to do is it needs to create curiosity on the first line. Manufacturing leaders are seeing 3 times more turnover than ever before, like whatever, right? So they go, oh my God, I am seeing more turnover. It resonates with them and they go, oh, yes, it resonates. And now I'm curious and I'm willing to invest the next 30 seconds to read. So that's the job. Those 2 pieces are earning the right to get them to read the next couple of lines.
Okay.
So the next 2, so those go together, resonate and create curiosity. The next 2 go together. Teach them something new that they didn't know before. Sometimes it could be a statistic. Sometimes it could be your best insight. It could be give them your best.
So what do you, there's people, I don't want to give them my best because then they'll have it and they'll already like, then we can't go any deeper. I'm giving them the best.
Yeah. So if you can give them your best and you can't go any deeper in a post, you need to work on your craft because that's a problem. But here's the thing, and we were raised in a world where our sales training told us never give away free consultation. That is absolutely the opposite of how you get business today. Because they have YouTube, they can go to get free consultation. They have AI, they can go to get free consultation.
That's right.
So you have to give them something they have not seen before. And it's just a light bulb has to go off.
In this way. So I often say there's a lot of content is not new, but it's new the way you package it or the way the example that you provide. There are ways to show your expertise and nuance that will get that aha or that
which is perfect because that goes into number 4, which is what they just learned needs to get them thinking differently about the way they're doing things today. Oh, I wonder how that would work in my organization. Or, wow, if I made that shift in my organization, what would that do? So we need to resonate with our buyer and curiosity, line 1. The next 2 or 3 lines needs to teach them something new that gets them thinking differently about their current situation or their current solution. And then number 5 is you've got to create the compelling moment. You have to have a call to action. Does the call to action mean if you're seeking services? No, never. We're not selling. Our next step is engagement. There are some people that will say, if this is interesting to you, download the full ebook on how to do X, Y, and Z. Right now, you've earned the right to get their email and downloading the ebook. Or B, as simple as we have all kinds of reactions, right? So you could have, if this resonates with you and your team, do the like sign. If you're like, man, we got this covered. We nailed this in. Put the heart sign, right? There are so many ways that we can encourage them to react. The other piece of this is put a poll at the end of it and they'll vote. So you can have a wonderful piece of content that is now a poll that asks them their perspective on this.
Right. So let's talk about that for a second. I could take all of these in so many different directions, but let's take a poll as an example. So when I see a poll, so sometimes I participate and sometimes I don't, whatever, maybe it wasn't compelling enough. And I haven't used polls for a while. When I see somebody that doesn't have any responses or like only has a few responses, then I'm like, do polls really, there's a perception there. When we're playing, the game doesn't look good if I have 3 people who answered my poll and it's 3 weeks since the poll went or whatever. When somebody sees this, what do you say to that?
It's a myth because you build it, they will come. You have to invite them.
What if you invite them and nobody fills it in? Does that look bad? That's what I'm saying. So it does look bad.
Yeah, I've deleted polls that got very little.
Okay, so you deleted the polls. Okay, because there's also this thing that if people comment or do whatever within 2 minutes of your post,
I don't
go
care.
to 10 times the people, and then they're calling all their friends and telling them to comment on the posts.
Not your friends, unless they play in that space and it makes sense.
Right.
We have a poll now that's specifically for manufacturing leaders. I do a search of all my first degree manufacturing leaders. And now I have 47. So I am now 10 at a time. I can blind copy and say, as a manufacturing leader, I would love your 1-click vote on this poll. Once it closes, I'm happy to share where you benchmark with your peers.
So you go out and you invite people. Now, do you do this through Navigator? Do you do this through
it's all in the free. There's a little paper airplane and you can blind copy 10 people at a time. Nobody knows these things, Penny.
I know, that's why you're here.
Yeah. So it becomes a top of the funnel activity.
That's brilliant, right? Because then you're more likely to have engagement because it's specifically for those people. It meets those 5 criteria that you talked about and you're targeting exactly those people.
And then their network sees it often, right? Because they engage.
So you're not tagging them though. You're
never
sending them a message.
It's a private message that you can blind copy up to 10 people at a time. So at that point, one of the reasons I like to focus on manufacturing leaders or
Right.
healthcare marketers or whatever it is. Now, this blog post and this content is specifically for this market.
Right. Okay. I love that.
And then what happens is now you'll get 4 other manufacturing leaders that saw another manufacturing leader and they voted. So now you have a few 4, 5, 10 second degree connections that voted. Well, now we connect with them. Thanks so much for voting. Once this poll closes, I'm going to be putting together a quick little report on where you'll benchmark to your peers. Let's connect. I'm happy to send that over to you. So now once the poll closes, I stick all the data inside of ChatGPT and I create a little benchmark report. And it takes 7 minutes. In my case, I send it to my graphics person and they make it a little ebook. But you could just make it a post on LinkedIn that you then send that post to all the people that voted and said, here's a little benchmark report. And this is what you answered. Privately, you tell them, and then they can click through and see the whole thing. And now they engage on that one.
Fantastic.
The key is you need to have a process in place. Random acts of social does not convert. And that's what most people are doing.
Random acts of social
does not convert.
Wow. That describes. See, mine aren't random, but they're also not as planned as this. And I think that's why, coming back to there's a sequence. And what I always say, so I know a number of different rules about LinkedIn. I don't know half the things that you know. One of the things I always say is you have to know the rules of the game you're playing.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with doing things a specific way because the algorithm supports that. Because you want to play to the rules and how it works. It does get frustrating. And sometimes you do want to bail out because it changes all the time. But for those that are listening, I think that's a really important, and it doesn't matter what game is. This is the LinkedIn game. If you're playing the Facebook game with ads or you're doing webinar sales or whatever you're doing, know the game, know how it's played and the nuances. Like you talked about some of those little tweaks that people don't know. It's finding those little things that people don't know that gives you the competitive edge.
Yes. And I have some clients where every single week we choose a different audience that we're going to go after. Same audience, different industry or different, right? And I'll have folks say to me, aren't people going to think that's all I do?
That I'm all over the place?
Not even all over the place, but if I read that and it says manufacturing leaders and I'm a healthcare leader, am I going to think you don't serve me? Not if your profile is positioned well. Your content doesn't have to talk to everyone, but your landing page needs to be completely inclusive of everyone you serve, right? We want to make sure that it's really clear if I click through that I serve all leaders in B2B, right? But that doesn't mean every piece of my content has to talk to all leaders.
Right.
And by the way, when you're engaging with the right people in those 2 weeks, let's say you had a 2-week, I'm going to engage with the right people, I'm going to get the right people, they're going to see your stuff. And then they might see the next one and it's healthcare. I'm not going to go. I want to go to number.
Absolutely. And people can go and they can get your book. And there's 2 books that we talked about in the intro, and they can definitely go get them, and we'll give them a place to go in a little bit. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about what's number 3. And you said that's so good.
Is prospecting. So what we just did was nurture, right? We nurtured our connections. What does prospecting look like? We have to have a reason that someone would want to engage with us in a way that's not about pitching. Because if you get a message that says, we help people just like you,
right?
You're like, delete. But what if you had a great ultimate guide to, or a free webinar? So we do every single month, we have a free webinar. The webinar is crazy amazing. You can go to socialsaleslink.com/events for the next one. And in the last 5 minutes, I have my next steps. 55 minutes of I give it away. And I'll share my call to action is Phil M. Jones, exactly what to say. One of 3 things. Number 1, Brynne, this was great. I loved it. It was awesome. I have everything I need. I'm ready to go. And if that's you, that's awesome. If you have any questions along the way, I make myself available. Reach out. I'm happy to chat. If you've got everything you need, I'm thrilled. Number 2, you know what, this was really fun, but LinkedIn isn't my thing. I don't think I'm going to use it, but I appreciate your time. And if that's you and you change your mind, again, I'm available. But I understand LinkedIn isn't for everybody. But if you're number 3, where you're like, this was awesome, but I need a little bit more, stick around. So I invite them to leave.
So that you can focus on the people who feel like they want
But guess
more.
what? All those people that would have felt pitched stay because they're curious, because nobody wants to be left out. I'll lose 2 or 3 people of 60. But if I went into pitch without one of 3 things,
Right.
I'd be down to 9. She's
Okay.
doing a pitch, but I gave them permission to leave without me being offended. And now I've created curiosity, so they want to stay. Really, that is the only way I close. And it's so respectful as well. And then the close is, this is what we do. It's $97 a month or $150 a month or whatever I'm closing.
Whatever program.
Whatever I'm closing. Maybe it's a $1,000 workshop, maybe whatever it is. But then I go into it and people are leaning in because they didn't feel like it was a bait and switch. Okay. Yeah. So now we have that in place, whatever that is. That's my favorite, are the once a month webinars. So now I go to my first degree connections and I invite them to the free webinar. So now I get, let's say the first one I do, I invite 100 people and 8 show up. Maybe 40 say yes and 8 show up. And you go, oh my God, 8. If I close 10%, I may not even get 1. Or if I doesn't matter. You give the best you can do. And if nothing closes in the first one, I don't care. The goal is that they leave going, man, that was the best hour.
That was awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
Now we're connected to those 8. And I go, Penny, I'm glad you enjoyed. I probably did a survey or something. I'm glad you enjoyed the webinar. I noticed that you are connected to quite a few people that I think might enjoy this. We're doing it again next month. Can I share these names with you and let me know if there's anyone on that list I shouldn't invite? And so you go, okay, of these, and there's a whole system around this, but maybe we could jump on a call and review them quickly. But maybe you say, okay, you have 27 that come up and these 12, I don't even know. Okay, of these 15, when I reach out to them, can I mention you were on the webinar, you loved it, you thought they'd get value from it? Great. So now I go out and go, Alex, Penny Zenker was on our webinar last month. When I told her we were doing it again, she thought you might get some value from it. If you're interested, let's connect. I can send you a complimentary link or a link to be my guest. So now don't connect with me if you're not interested. I almost say that in the connect. If you're interested, yeah. Why? Because now I have permission to send the link without it being spammy. So per Penny Zenker's recommendation, here's a link to our next webinar. If there's anyone else in your organization that you think might get value from it, feel free to invite them. Now I have 16 people on the next one. And then I go back out, do the same thing. So now my one tomorrow, I think we have 217 people registered, all through Warm Market. They all came through Warm Market, and maybe 45 or 50 will show up because the numbers are lower than they used to be. But out of 440, we get about a 10% close. Some people think, oh my gosh, if I could close half of these people, they may close in the next 2 years.
It just might not be the right time.
Realistically, 10% is a nice number to keep in your mind. If it's more than that, it's a bonus. If it's less than that, we have to work on the value of the webinar.
Absolutely.
So those are the 3 buckets, right? And I would say that third bucket is bring value, get referrals. Bring the profile as a landing page that converts. It's content, using content strategically to start trust-based conversations, and then prospecting through adding value. All of this falls under one umbrella mindset, which is detached from what the prospect is worth to you and attached to what you are worth to the prospect. At every level, it's about bringing them value, not about making a sale. Because the moment you say, oh, this is a good prospect and I think that way, they're going to feel it.
They're going to feel you selling to them versus delivering value.
If my goal, and I just move them, here's the next step. Here's the next step. So for me, it's two major pieces of value earns me the right to earn, like where they go, I'd love to learn a little bit more about how you can help me. 2 to 3. Now, there are some people that I've been inviting because it's so easy to do on a LinkedIn event. You can invite 1,000 people a week. And so now my first degree connections of the right people are very large. I will invite, it's really between 3,000 and 4,000 people a month to my one free event through the LinkedIn events. And those are my first degree connections. And we are consistently getting 200, 250, 300 people on every free event. It's just such a nice way to do business because it's all about bringing them value and giving them permission to leave.
Yeah, that's fantastic. If this were a webinar and it's a podcast, I'm sure that there are going to be a number of people who are going to be new going on to this webinar, getting even more value than you got here,
Here's
right?
My call to action. My call to action is if you love this and want to explore it specifically to your world, go ask Brynne.ai, which is my coach on fuel. You have 7 days, no credit card. If you like this and want more, go ask my AI coach.
Like that. We'll have your link attached to the podcast.
And then try
I think it's worth saying to everyone. Exactly. So we are both on this amazing myfuel.io platform that is the new way of training. This is where it's going, that these micro lessons that are teaching you one thing, how to apply it, direct application, it stops, it makes you apply it. And then right after that, you have the ability to integrate it even further with the Brynne AI to ask specific questions about your profile or about what you're doing. Like, these are incredible resources. And this is the way that training is going to be. I am totally under the impression that the old way is dead and will soon all be in this kind of nature where it's just because we need it to be personal to us. Like you said, relevant and personal. What I have going on today, I need answers. And if you want me to learn something, I need to practice and apply it. And that only happens
on my time.
In small chunks, right? On your time, but also in small chunks. We just don't have the capacity to sit through an hour, 2 hours. We can do it, but what do we really leave with? It's better to implement and then build on top of it.
Yeah, I love that. And like for me, when I go in and play with other people's AI, it's on my time. It's not during 9 to 5 when I'd have access to people. It's like literally I could go in and I'm like, it's 7:00 at night and I've got some football game on and I'm playing on my phone in Fuel, asking questions to people's AI that I could not have time to get answered or get their time to get them answered.
Or be able to afford it. Let's face it. That there are people on there, you and myself included, that if you want one-on-one time, there's a lot.
We get a whole year of access to a whole bunch of incredible leaders for the price of 1 hour of a consultant.
I know. It's insane.
It's insane. But here's the thing is if I didn't bring value first, if I didn't earn the right, and maybe I didn't, I don't know, nobody would care about my AI. So if I led with, and this is like the LinkedIn, if I led with, hey, go check out my AI, but I never gave you value or
why would you go there?
Why would you go there? And the mistake most people are making is they're talking about how they can help people before they actually help them.
I think I made that same mistake today. I posted because my course just went live and I posted about how cool the training platform is and what they can. So that is value. That is value because they can see and get free access. And
it's only value if they really know you. It's not value to someone who doesn't.
Yeah. I didn't talk about me. I talked about the platform and the new way of learning. But you're right. I could have brought like a nugget that they could pick up there and just go get some other nuggets. We really just need to really think through, how we're approaching and providing our content, prospecting. Like you said, just lead with value first. Before this is a show right here, but I do want to you have some really amazing skill sets and you wrote a book around prompting. Maybe we can just talk very quickly about, maybe we just keep it to LinkedIn. How do people leverage AI and use specific prompting that can help support them to get more out of making those posts or creating email sequences or any of those types of things. What would your just top two suggestions be, since we don't have
Well,
that much
I'll do content and pre-call planning because I think those are two.
Okay.
So the key number one is that the LLM knows you, that whatever you're using. And if it doesn't know you yet, go grab your AI transcripts, your assistant that is in every meeting. Go grab your blog post or other content and train. If you're using the two I use are ChatGPT and Gemini. And when I'm teaching my clients that are corporate clients, I'm in Copilot. But Copilot, I do not recommend unless that's the only one you're allowed to use for your. But I'm in, so Gemini and ChatGPT. So number one, they need to know you. So the next thing that you need to do is you need to treat AI like it is a human being, an assistant. So when I am talking to AI, when I'm adding to AI, in my head, I'm emailing or chatting an assistant what I'm looking to get. But here's what I want you to think about. The first time you're doing this, it's a brand new assistant and knows nothing about anything in your business, but you hired them because they were smart, they learned quickly, good writers, whatever, right? All those things, but they don't know you yet. So even if you fed them this information, it's going to take them a while to get comfortable with your voice, right? So prompt writing, I'm a big acronym type person, right? So CRISPy is our model. You don't need all of the pieces for everything that you do, but I do believe you need this when you're writing emails or content. So number one, context. What is this for? What do I want a blog post for manufacturing leaders that's going to teach them about how to reduce turnover? That's context. Role, who are you? I am Marshall Goldsmith and Simon Sinek and right, all these, right? Well, not I am, you are.
Right.
So the role is you, AI, are these three people, these four people that I have hired or brought in to help me. So I have context and role. Then I have inspiration. This is where you rant. You talk about everything you want it to be, the way you want people to feel, what you want to get out of it, what is the goal. This is all the yummy stuff inside the content. Then we have scope. Scope is the boring stuff. I want 2,000 words. I want to be SEO optimized. I want subject line that's a hook. I want meta descriptions and right. Look, that's the boring stuff. Scope is what I want, bullet points and short paragraphs. Like that's the boring stuff. But scope is really important, right? I have scope for blog posts. It's the same scope every single time when I'm doing a Substack post. It's the same, right? It's just the boring stuff. Sometimes I'll say I want 3 backlinks to my website and it now learned my websites. Then it's prohibitions. And this is something I shared with you earlier, Penny. One of the biggest mistakes people make on AI is they don't have prohibitions. So my prohibitions are don't ever start with a prepositional phrase. In today's ever-changing world.
Right.
I do not want any content that is not this but that.
Oh, I hate that. Yes.
My prohibitions specifically say that. Do not give me segmented sentences. So I have probably 100 prohibitions. And sometimes my LLM forgets them. So I will say, please revisit the prohibitions and rewrite this. And it apologizes and says, I'm sorry, you're right.
You're right. I'll go do it. Yes, I have seen that as well.
And then there's you. So you can be a couple things. So CRISPy is C is context. R is role. I is inspiration. S is scope. P is prohibitions. And Y is you. This is either your transcript that you're using or a set of questions that you wanted to ask you. But that is where you come in, right? So do not ever, for content, and that's why I said this is really important for content, do never skip that piece. Because no matter how much it knows you, if you don't, oh, by the way, some of my prohibitions are do not research, right? Do not hallucinate. If I didn't say it, don't write it. So for content, the crispy framework is great. Email, whatever that is, that all falls into scope, right? What do I want this to be? Sometimes I need landing page and 3-drip email and whatever, right? That's your scope.
Right.
That's really important. And a lot of people miss that. Okay.
Absolutely. And I think that is important that you're covering all of those key pieces, because very often people go in and they just start a new prompt and and they're not really thinking it through. Mm-hmm. And so the more we can plan it up front a little bit is going to stop the rework, because we get garbage and then we're like, no, some people give up and go, this didn't work. Or they get 5 different versions now that they have to work with and say, well, I like this and I like that. Mm-hmm. So that gives me it's such a big headache. You want to really make sure that you're spending that time up front in those definitions, in the prompt, in the system prompt, but also then the user prompt, making sure that you're getting the clarity that you want with it.
And once you've got that great one, you have one for blog posts, you have one for landing pages and email, save them either in gems inside of Gemini or in GPTs or projects. Like save it, right? Like use it over and over again. Once you've got a really good prompt, don't reinvent the wheel every time, right? So that's really important. The other piece that I want to say, and this is much faster, but this is a piece that I think LinkedIn and AI is really like, it's like a Reese's peanut butter cup, like chocolate and peanut butter perfect together, is pre-call planning. So if you're meeting with a person or people, on every profile, whether you're connected or not, you can download a PDF of their LinkedIn profile, which is better than a link. You get every piece of every word of their profile when you download it as a PDF. When you have a link, sometimes it can't either read more sections it doesn't read, and sometimes LinkedIn blocks it. But the PDF is a no-brainer. Download it as a PDF, upload it to your LLM, and then have a really good, solid pre-call planning prompt that might be, I'm meeting with these people for this purpose. And you could go through, you are the greatest sales trainer of all time. Inspiration is, I want the whatever, right? You go through this, but I want a pre-call planning. Here's the scope. That's what I want to get to. Here are the 5 things I want to learn about them. Or here are the 5 discovery questions I'm likely to ask. Please bridge what they do and who they are to my discovery questions. Then I also want to know, who do they serve? What's the solution? What's the problem they solve? Who are their competitors? Do a basic SWOT. And then I add in, usually their URL to their company is in the LinkedIn profile, but I will often, if I'm doing a full SWOT, add in their company website. And you now, what might have taken you an hour to do, can do in under a minute, if or less, once you get to their profile. And you can even say, what are some icebreakers? And so it says, oh, that you both have Rutgers listed on your profile. You can build the prompt to do that with the PDF of their profile. Right. And I cannot tell you. And sometimes I'll say, where do they live? What city are they calling in? Because here's the thing. If you ask them a question that you could have learned from their LinkedIn profile, you're wasting a question. So if you would ask it, have the LLM scrape it and give you that information.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And those aspects of, so I just recently did some research last year about personalization and how we're in the era of co-collaboration when it comes to personalizing things in a way that drives meaningful conversations, because people, they perk up. You went to Rutgers too, right? So if you do some sort of an icebreaker like that, they appreciate it. It's not, people respond to it. It is, think about yourself, right? If somebody were to say, hey, I went to Drexel too, and we graduated the same year, maybe we had some of the same teachers, it does start that conversation. I think it's really meaningful to take that extra time to prep and to be able to personalize some of those points, to understand what's important to them and start with that.
Yeah. But if you have that prompt that you use every single time, All you have to do is
So easy.
download the profile, click the prompt, stick it in, and it's done. It's faster than scanning the profile for the things you want to learn. And by the way, what I will then start a project based on that company or that person, if it's a real prospect. I don't do this for everyone. And then every one of my conversations, because I have my assistant and everything, I will download that transcript and add that transcript to the project. There are times I'll jump into that project and say, how many sales navigator licenses did they say they had? And it goes because all my transcripts are there too.
It's a huge resource that most people have just scratched the surface and are just playing around. So when we add more structure, what that tells me, right, is, and that's something also in my report that we looked at, is that there's a huge opportunity. Only, even though we, in our research, 60% of people are using AI, there's only the majority of people are spending it just playing around at the moment and not using it in a structured way, or even only 11% have actually integrated it into their workflows and things like that. So that's coming everywhere. Yay. I know it is exciting. I can't even imagine what the world is going to look like in 5 years.
I'm a little older than you, but we're about like in that same world, right? We did not have email when we started selling. We did not have cell phones when we started selling. We did not have the internet when we started selling. We had
people like, what? What are you guys, dinosaurs?
It was the 90s. Like it wasn't like that's now 30 plus years ago. But I remember getting email and feeling overwhelmed that I didn't know how I was going to work it into my day. That's what AI is now. A lot of people are overwhelmed, but in 2 years, you won't be able to live without it. GPS.
Oh, absolutely. You won't be able to stay ahead without. If you're not using it, you will not,
it's like not
be able
email.
to. Yeah, people won't hire you because you don't have the skills that are needed. You're just going to be left behind. It's not
like not using email. It's like not using a cell phone. It's really
it's not a thing.
This is the next thing that you have to, that will just be part of.
It'll just be part of our day-to-day lives. Absolutely. In every aspect.
Yep. I had so much fun.
Yeah, me too. The time has flown. So thank you so much for all of the wisdom that you've brought today, because this is a really rich session that everybody has just been through. So where do they go? Let's just give them those links one more time about where they can go to play with your AI, to go to your webinar, and we'll have them all on the show notes, but just give them to us again.
So Brynne, BRYNNE.ai, will go to my AI. It redirects into Fuel, myfuel.io, but that'll get you 7 days with me. And you can jump into Penny and everyone else. It's not just go to socialsaleslink.com/events. We always have tons of events. You can come to coaching for free. We've always got webinars you can jump on. There's always that's the way I grow my business, is to have everyone experience me. And I'm either right or I'm not right. But either way, I want them to leave and say, man, that was a good use of my time.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. And by the way, just for the audience, I actually know Penny in real life. We've had lunch together at California Pizza Kitchen alone.
That's right.
In other ways, like real life friend.
Absolutely. And that's why it was so special to have you here. So bonus question. So recently I changed my profile to he, him versus she, her, not because I'm a he, him, but because there are a number of posts going around that when people changed their profile, their reach went up. And I have to say that I wanted to test it. At first, I was a little, maybe this is being done.
I've heard that if you change your headline, you change your experience. Absolutely. But I've not heard pronouns matter.
I guess they do, because, and I thought, oh, that's just them looking to get attention so that more people will comment on it and that'll be a way for them to get it. But I thought, you know what? I'm just going to try it. I'm going to silently try it. I'm going to change it, see what happened. And actually, my reach did increase with nothing else changing.
So here is what I would recommend, and I would not even use this, but it could offend a lot of people if you do that. I would go to they, them.
I didn't even think that was an option, but they, them might not. Now I could check that. The question is, which one's getting more reach? It wasn't a point of choosing if it's because of he, him that male
something. So
orientation
it's
is
just
getting,
the change in the profile. It's just they're active. There's something new. It increases the algorithm for 2 weeks, but it can
okay.
be
So you think it's
anything.
just an algorithm increase for 2 weeks. So I'll have
Yeah,
to see. I think I've left it there for a longer period of time. So it might have been a month now. So I'll,
yeah. My stepson is a student at Columbia, and his entire thesis is around pronouns. And I'm hyper aware of how, as cisgender, how we have to show up, and that if we would do something like that, it can seen as making fun of, and obviously we don't want to do that.
yeah, but that I would only 100% that there's
That's
a
why
sensitivity around it.
I would not put
All
this
right.
in
I won't put this. Okay.
because it's just and I don't know that I'd be as sensitive if he were not but like his whole study is on pronouns and
Right.
at
Well, it's
Columbia.
very interesting.
Yeah,
But I wouldn't put it past the algorithm that there isn't something that preferences he, him.
I'd be shocked. I think it's
I would be too,
I
but
think
you're
it's
right. It's probably just any change in the algorithm
so after
in the
2 weeks
profile.
now change it back and you'll get another 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll have to check that. So yeah, that's in
All
testing.
right.
And for all of you, we are really glad that you were here too, because I know that you got value out of today. So please do reach out, connect with Brynne, not only on all of those links, but link in with her so that you can follow what she's got going on. And let me know also what topics is it that you're looking for more of, that you want to go deeper into. I am making some changes in the podcast. I just reached over 20,000 downloads a month, and we're increasing exponentially now. I really want to change some things in the podcast to bring in some of your questions, to look to make this better in a number of different ways. I'm going to change the design and layout of it and everything. So please, as you're listening, connect with me over LinkedIn as well and let me know what you took away. Let me know what you want to hear. We'll all grow and get better at LinkedIn together, as well as develop ourselves. And that's it. I could keep talking and talking, but thank you again, everyone, for being here. And my name is Penny Zanker, and it's time to reset. Hey, thank you for spending this time with me. It really means a lot. If you're feeling a little off, distracted, overwhelmed, stuck, or just out of sync, remember that's your signal to reset. And that's all it takes. Just recognizing one reset moment at a time. So stay tuned for more tips, tools, tricks, stories, strategies, all here on Time to Reset. We'll see you in the next episode.